This is the Carty Method Podcast.
Hey, welcome to another episode of the Carty Method Podcast. Today is Portfolio Lab. This is the day that I look through your work. And it's not just Tuesdays, it's Tuesdays and Thursdays. Those are the 2 days that I look at your work. Tuesday, I look at pictures that you're considering for your portfolio. Thursday, I give you an assignment, and that assignment is an industry level assignment, which is tuned to train you to do industry level work, as well as create industry level work, as well as create work that gets you work. So welcome to Portfolio Lab. It is week 24. And for week 24, I'm going to let you know what Thursday's assignment is. And again, Thursday's assignment is due tomorrow at midnight. Week 24's assignment is create an ad for Coca-Cola, like a horizontal, create a horizontal billboard. That's my goal for you. Design an image that captures Coca-Cola's brand values, which are joy, togetherness, and refreshment. If you shoot people, show an authentic moment of someone enjoying a Coke or friends sharing a Coke. If you shoot places, feature iconic Coke branding in a lively setting. And if you shoot things, create a hero image of a Coke bottle with crisp lighting and visible condensation. Glass bottle or Coca-Cola can if you can't find a glass bottle. The goal for this is I want you to shoot a billboard. I want it to look like it's a billboard. You can offset left or right as if you're shooting a double page spread. That will also work. But this week, I will allow a center focused horizontal if it fits the composition. If the composition works and there's still room for copy, I will allow it. I will allow a center focused horizontal. This is why this matters. Understanding how to shoot a Coca-Cola ad demonstrates your ability to blend universal emotion with world-class branding, which is a skill that's valued by top creatives and top commercial clients. So, when I say top creatives, an art director, a photo editor, they're also creatives, and they're also hiring you and looking at your work from the perspective of another creative. Coca-Cola, week 24 assignment. It's due tomorrow midnight, and I'll be looking at them with you on Thursday. By the way, if you want to join Portfolio Lab, if you want this type of deep insight, it comes from you signing up. And hey, Made in the Bronx, welcome. Thanks for subscribing. All right, let's get into Portfolio Lab submissions. Starting with Courtney Turner. What my minimalist submission should have been: another shot of the Land Rover autobiography with the Z7 35mm ISO 200 f5 at 1/25th of a second, a 25th of a second, shot natural light, open shade. This is Courtney Turner. Courtney, thanks for submitting. Courtney, this feels really good. I feel like it's a little bit high in the frame. Let me just speaking about being high in the frame, let me just move and make me a little smaller in the frame. Courtney, this is good. I think that you could push this truck down just a little bit. So your horizon line, which is kind of right here, drops down to about here. I mean, you can see when this is an 8x10. If this was an 8x10, I would make it cropped like this. So you see that much base. I would now take what you put on the bottom of the frame and put that on the top of the frame. So the truck is pushed down just a little bit. Other than that, Courtney, I have not much to say. We got good Land Rover branding here on the wheel. The wrap is really nice. The truck is really nice. The light is nice. You managed to hold the highlight. It's on a really nice, non-distracting background. It works as a cover. For me, this is an 11. This is a yes for me, Courtney, for your portfolio. Absolutely. This is going to look great. Looking forward to seeing how that website builds out, mister. Thanks for submitting. Appreciate you. So you guys know there's no smoke today. I have the air conditioner running. It's funny. You can't hear it at all. You hear nothing. You can't hear the air conditioner running, but the air conditioner is running. So because of that, I don't have the smoke machine on because the smoke machine kind of conflicts with the air conditioner, and it's starting to get a little bit warm up in her. All right, so let's get into our next shooter, who is Mike Graves. Mike says, real estate shoot games room. Can this go in my portfolio? Shot off the Sony A7 IV with a 16 to 35 millimeter ISO 400 f8 at a 13th of a second. Shot with room lighting. This is Mike Graves. Mike, let's get it on. This definitely, I think, can go in your portfolio. I need to know what kind of a photographer that you're trying to be. That's you need to help me with what kind of a photographer you're trying to be. I'm also seeing the placement of this ball. It's too center focused. I would offset this either way, just because this is what this looks like as a double page spread. You can see that that ball drops right on the gutter. And also, I mean, you can see how the room alignment, meaning these pictures aren't lining up exactly with here. That's not your fault. It means the pictures need to get pushed over. But because you made such a symmetrical shot, we're seeing obviously all of that. You have to watch the color balance. I want to make sure, because this is existing room light, you have different color balance coming out of here, 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 here. You have also different color balance coming out of here. You have pot lights up here, which is also giving you a different color balance. And the pool ball, the white ball, and the yellow ball look too, I mean, this is snooker, but they look too much alike. And this white ball isn't white enough. So again, you're dealing with a color balance issue when you come into these kinds of scenes. It's hard to tell whether these mats are white or cream. This looks relatively white, but because you color balanced, and if you use this as a white balance and that looks like it's balanced, the table is off because of the color balance that's coming down from these lights. I need to know what kind of a photographer you're trying to be, Mike. If you're trying to shoot interiors, this will work. This is quite brilliant. What I would do is actually move this ball, like I would copy and then just move it offset. But I'm sure that this is perhaps this is how the snooker table lines up when you break, like that ball is there. I'm really splitting hairs here, Mike. It's a good image. It's compositionally sound. Hey, Motocross, thanks for hanging out. It's compositionally sound. I just think that, yeah, I just think the color balance is kind of working against you. It's very symmetrical. You know, when you do these things, you have to be crazy. The things that you can fix, like the chairs, you just move the chairs over so they line up with that whole, you can see here how that lines up quite perfectly. The chairs are movable. Just move the chairs over. I hope that helps you. That is Mr. Mike Graves. Next on deck is Torrance Davis. Torrance says, here's a different frame from my submission from last week. XT3, 56 millimeter 1.2, ISO 2500, f4 at 1/100th of a second. Torrance, work on getting your ISO not higher than 1000. Okay, work on that. Work on not getting your ISO higher than 1000. This is Torrance Davis. Torrance, thanks for submitting. I like the expression. Let's look at this as a cover. It works well as a cover, Torrance. I mean, she's a little bit like there's nothing really there in the expression. She's a little bit blank, to be honest. So I would love a little bit more in the expression. But overall, I think that this is a better frame than last week's. I am seeing that ISO, like you see here. This is 2500 ISO. So for me, you don't need to push your sensor this far, because really it's only exposing part of the sensor, and you can see this by the level of noise that you're seeing there. At 100%, I still see this noise. It kind of appears and feels like film grain. It's not necessary to go to 25 to 2500 ISO. Again, set your ISO marker at 1000 and don't go higher than that. And let me just look back at your readings to see if you could have changed your readings. F4. Well, yeah, you could definitely. So you were at 2500 F4 at 100th of a second. So let's look. You were at 2500 ISO. 2500 ISO. F4 at 1/100th of a second. So, and you're shooting with a lens, that's a 1.4, I think. So the first thing that we do is we half F4 to F2.8. Okay, now ISO 2500 now drops down to 1250. And there's your solution. And it still gives you the same integrity and the same photo. And the noise is almost gone. Almost gone. So for me, that's what you do. Zoom into 2.8 for this particular image, and you're shooting at 100th of a second. I wouldn't slow down the shutter speed, but that's a quick way that you can get your shutter, your ISO down to 1250 from 2500 on the same image. It's a much better capture than the one that you shared with me last week, Torrance. Thank you. Well done. By the way, I'm Steve Carty. If you've never seen me, I've been a pro for 35 years, which makes me feel old. In case you're wondering, I'm 54 years old. It's crazy also to say out loud, 54. I'm going to be 55 next month, which is insane. So, yeah, I've been a pro since I was 20 years old. All right, this is Bernadette Kellerman. Bernadette says, I could have had a little bit of a different setting and shot less wide open, but I'll try to avoid it in the future. Shot with a Sony a7 III 50mm 1.4, shot at ISO 200, f2.2 at 1/2500th of a second. This is Bernadette Kellerman. Bernadette, let's get it on. Bernadette, this is a nice frame. For me, it's about like his body language and this, like, if you're gonna have a gentleman sitting like that, you have to come around this way and shoot him straight on. Do you know what I mean? Like, you have to, for me, him sitting with then his bum like out of the frame, it just feels odd. I also want you to just, if you Google magazine covers, right? Just Google magazine covers. And if you just look at what magazine covers look like, you'll see sometimes they shoot profile, but a majority is straight on. And the seated position that you showed is not something that's normally done. You see how squared up that is. You see how squared up this cover is, how squared up this one is. especially when it comes to men. Like squaring up dudes is kind of this here. So that, like, we have to look at references before we shoot. We have to look at references. And if you look at this cover where she's sitting sideways like this, it just looks to me quite awkward. You can see that she, and again, this is like Wonderland. It's probably a submission style magazine. But when you looked at major magazines, Vogue, GQ, like magazines like this, they're usually quite straight on. Covers are usually quite straight on, and covers of men, excuse me, are usually quite straight on, as you can see. So what I'm hoping is in future, Bernadette, when, like, I just want you to think of it like this, like the way that your subject is projecting their energy. Their energy comes from here. Okay. So they're projecting their energy outwards, but he's turning his face to camera to kind of look at you, which it just has it's taking pictures. I mean, it's making pictures, but it's two taking pictures adjacent. I really want you to think about like hitting straight on, hitting your subject straight on. I think that it's going to help you so much. And even on an editorial angle, if you look at the way that I compose my subjects, and again, I'm not trying to make you me, but I want you to look at the way that a majority, I square up my subjects. Yes, every once in a while I do shoot profiles, but it's just important to know when to do that type of a photo. I think for me, Bernadette, I like this picture. I think that it's technically really well done. I just want you to, when you're shooting, to really be roaming around and thinking about the most flattering way. For me, with this head angle, because he's turning, it just makes weird things happen in the neck. Like when a guy has to like kind of turn to camera that way when his body is a different way, it just does weird things in the neck. So square up is kind of how it just makes the shoulders and everything look like a little bit more balanced. Compositionally strong though, like yes, it does work as a cover, and yes, it would work as an 8x10 because of the way that you framed this, Bernadette. So for me, I'm giving you an 11 on this picture. I'm a little bit hard on you as far as the framing and his positioning, but the more you shoot, the better you get at this. Also, consider not dropping the horizon line like right at the 50% part. Lower yourself so that drops the horizon lower, and then the picture is more him against sky rather than this. Again, I don't mind seeing a scenic background, just push it down lower so that horizon starts like at a fourth or a third rather than right at the 50% part through the picture. Okay, I hope that helps you. That is Bernadette Kellerman. Thanks, Bernadette, for submitting. Well done. All right, this is Nadine O'Connor. Nadine said, I had an amazing time with Bella. I had all this new lighting gear and had to give it a try. Sony A9 55mm 1.8 ISO 200 f8 at 1/250th of a second. Shot with an AD200 strobe with a 24-inch softbox. This is Nadine O'Connor. Nadine, this is a massive level up for you. Like, I want you to hear this. This is a massive level up for you. Massive. You're shooting on an overcast day. You're using outdoor strobe, but you're using a softbox, so the shadow on her face is like, it kind of matches the quality of light that you're shooting outside.
Yes, sir,
so
yes.
this is good for me. I mean, there's things that, like, there's multiple things that we have to think about. For me, with lighting, you really nailed this, like you really did. Framing her, she's offset, so I want her centered. And then you dropped her head quite centered in the frame. I want her up here. You know what I mean? So there's room for the masthead. She's too over and she's too far down. So if I was to crop this, and if I was to put this in my portfolio, which you're going to, I would have to crop this way, Nadine. So you drop this down like this, and then you drop this in like this. So you can see like that's closer to her being centered in frame. And know that like now that you see this composition, you have to shoot this. But you have to shoot it this way. But Nadine, I gotta say, holy moly, what a huge jump in understanding, what a huge jump in quality, what a huge jump in subject, in mood. This speaks. I love her expression. Her expression here works. Your focus is brilliant. Make sure you're always focusing on the closer eye. Nadine, this is brilliant. For how far you've come in such a short time. Oh my God, Nadine. What a level up. Holy moly. Nadine, I'm proud of you. Like, wow. You understand what you did is there's a ladder that we're climbing, you know, and these rungs, I'm gonna show you what it's like. These rungs go from here to up here, and it's hard to climb these rungs, but it starts here as a beginner, and up here is working pro, full time. So what you did is, with this image here, you have already been making these jumps. We'll call this an intermediate. So this picture just jumped you. This picture just jumped you. And I need to keep you making these leaps so I can get you here. But holy moly, you came to me here. And week by week through Portfolio Lab, you've been doing this. This one feels like you jumped from here to like here. You did 2 jumps in this one, Nadine O'Connor. Incredibly proud of you. Very, very well done. Guys, that's Nadine O'Connor. That's an 11 for you if I didn't say that already, Nadine. It's fantastic. Very proud of you. Like, good shit. It's Nadine O'Connor. And for those of you who are watching at home, proof that this works. Like, holy moly, proof that this works. There's a method to my madness. There really is. And some people say that I'm hard on photographers. I'm hard on them. It's like, of course. There's no one's ever been hard on you. Everybody's always been, oh my God, you're the best. You know what I mean? And like, success is a team sport. Okay? Success is a team sport. And in order to reach success, you need a feedback loop. Do you think any business reaches success with one person trying to do it? One person? Without any kind of coaching or any kind of like mentorship or any kind of like training, business training, like, how does that business go? It's why 86% of photographers fail their first year. The reason is because photographers' egos get in the way. They think, I can figure it out on my own. And because they think they can figure it out on their own, nobody figures it out on their own. Nobody does, because they think that they can figure it out on their own from watching YouTube and doing YouTube. What ends up happening is no growth. Once you start getting feedback, once you involve more than just you in you getting better, once you bring in outside eyes on what you're doing, it's coaching. That's why Jordan has a coach. Every Olympic athlete has a coach. I do coaching right here on YouTube. There's no one else who's really doing this except for me. And I do it live because I have nothing to hide. Next up is Malik Brand. By the way, if you want to join Portfolio Lab, just go to thecartymethod.com/Portfolio Lab to sign up. You can pay monthly, you can pay quarterly, or you can pay yearly. All right, this is Malik Brand. Malik says, this is the first image on my site. I want to know if it aligns, and if there's time, I'd love your feedback on the site as a whole. Can't do a feedback on your site right now because I have lots of shots to look at today. But I can do it the next time I do photo reviews, or I can do it during one of our Pro Lab or Portfolio Lab workshops, which we do on Thursday. All right, this is Sony A7 Mark III, 85mm 1.4, ISO 125, f6.3 at 1/25th of a second, shot with 3 Vision 4 strobes. This is Malik Brand. Malik, thanks for submitting. So Malik, I'm not sure if this aligns with what it is that you're trying to do and who it is that you're trying to attract. Are you trying to attract girls who want you to shoot them for their OnlyFans or that kind of stuff? Because this is what this picture feels like. She's very tits first. You know what I mean? And it's just, for me, this picture it gives the wrong message. And it says, like, this is the kind of stuff that I shoot. Right? Now, if you look at one of my other shooters who, and also, he's also one of my coaches. He's graduated through quite well. If you look at his first picture, it screams high quality editorial fashion. It's not sexually charged. Do you know what I mean? And even if he does have like a picture that almost shows a nip, it's mixed in with applied photography. It's mixed in with athletes. It's mixed in with editorial. So what you're speaking when you show that type of work is that's what you're in photography for, is to get next to girls who are showing you their parts and labor. So for me, Malik, this sends the wrong message. It sends the wrong message. And if you look at my portfolio, like I'm very, very specific with the type of message that I'm putting out. And yes, I shoot incredibly beautiful women, but I shoot it in a way that's not necessarily sexually charged. Do you know what I mean? It's beautiful and it's at times heated, but there's a different motivation for my photographs. Like, you can see a photograph like this, like there's just a different motivation. I'm showing the sweater, and here, beautiful girl, I'm showing the outfit. Like different motivation, and also with the posing. Again, beautiful girl. She has nothing on. Well, she does, because we're just hiding it. It's like a bandeau that's kind of pushed down to make it look like she's nude. But it's just a beauty shot. and it's non-distracting, and you just see her, and it's not sexually charged. So for me, Malik, like that, the body style, the type of model, and what it says, and it's your first image, it's going to attract more. And I'm trying to get you out of shooting the kind of stuff that lowers your frequency as a photographer. I'm trying to raise your frequency and your value as a shooter, and that comes from what you show. And every one of your photographs says a message, and this one to me says OnlyFans, and I don't think that that's what you're trying to say. I hope that helps you. That is Malik Brand. So yeah, Malik, I would, you have to shoot the type of people that you want to get hired to shoot, not just who's hired you. And your book shouldn't be made up with just, this is what I've done. You know what I mean? You have to go out and find people that are worthy of being in your portfolio and shooting them. Just because somebody pays you doesn't mean you have to show it. You don't have to show it. You don't have to show everything that you make a nickel from. You know what I mean? So just be very wary. For me, this one gives the wrong message, Malik. I hope that's clear. All right. That is Malik Brand. This is Natalie Bennett. I was able to take this image last weekend, shot with the Mark 6, the R6 Mark II, with the 300 millimeter lens. Look at you. ISO 400, 5.6 at 3/20th of a second. Good with the shutter speed. Malik, member. Hey, let's go. Malik, I can give you a light show. But I can't do the smoke because it pops my breaker, actually. But I also here, let me do it this. I'll give you a little bit of love here, Malik Brand. Appreciate you for becoming a member. Is this your first time around now? You've been a member for only like 1 month? Bro, wait till you get wings. Look at everyone else here with wings, my guy. And your crown like graduates. You start with a little crown and then it turns into king's crown. And after a year, you get wings. All right, let's look at Natalie Bennett. Natalie, thanks for submitting. Natalie, this has a vibe. It's a little close in the composition, but I like it. I want to do a little bit of a zoom to check your focus. You can see when you're shooting with the 300, like you really have to watch camera shake. And make sure that I would even shoot with a 300 on a monopod. But compositionally, Natalie, this is strong. It's a little, it needs a little bit more black. It needs a little bit less shadow detail, a little bit more black. And framing wise, you can see he's a little bit too tight to that side. If you're going to make such a close picture, it really has to be composed like as exact as you can get. But overall, this is a yes for me. This is a yes, Natalie. I want you to be very wary of what this looks like as an 8x10. For me personally, if I was to do an 8x10, I wouldn't include his whole head. I would crop it like there-ish, somewhere in this range. Just because that's kind of how it would have to go. But yes, this is a yes for me, and I'll give you an 11 on that one, Natalie. All right. Light show over. Thank you, Malik, for becoming a member again. All right, that was Natalie Bennett. This is Kevin Curtis. Kevin says, another shot from the R33 Skyline GT. Sony A7 R4, Sigma 105, ISO 100, f8 at a 500th of a second. This is Kevin Curtis. Kevin, this is a yes. Off the bat, this is a yes for me. There's a couple of small details. I mean, it's very warm, but I know that it's shot in like the last moments of sunlight. I'm just watching this horizon line here that's going through the car. You're in a really tricky space. You're in a really tricky spot putting the car here because of that retaining wall on the back. That really makes it tricky. Also, I don't know if I would include the sky here. For me, I would have nicked this picture like right across like that, which would have focused your eye a little bit more in the car. I like the fact that you push the car low down in the horizon line. Like I do like the fact that you push the car like down. My only issue is this barrier basically messing with the wing of the car, messing with the Recaro seats. The only option is you don't park the car here. That's the only option, is you don't park the car here. So let me show you. As an 8x10, I would do this. If I were you, Mr. Curtis, I would pull this down like this and try to cut out that blue sky here. That's closer to how I would crop it. Really good framing here with the centering. Really good, like, dropping it down in the horizon line. Like, this is such a good swing. But again, Kevin, I know your work and I know who I'm trying to turn you into. This is a yes, but understand this. It's not going to be a yes for long. My suggestion in a scene like this is use the ground as your background, because the ground, the concrete is perfect. The lines are perfect. Go up and aim down on this car. That's my vibe. You'd still get this golden light, but you're not going to be dealing with the distractions. You're just going to see the car, and then it's going to push it into a bit of a minimalism kind of an image. I hope that helps. This is Kevin Curtis. Kevin, thanks for submitting, my guy. Guys, the show prep is beautiful. Beautiful. Mario Murray. Mario says, this is my first submission. Shot with the R6 with the 24-70 ISO 100 f/18 at 1/200th of a second. This is Mario Murray. Let's get it on, Mario. Thanks for submitting. So Mario, this is a good swing. There's a couple of things that I'm seeing right away. Number one, it's like what you're doing in post is making this feel flat. You're messing with like shadow and like sliders and stuff like this. The depth of field and the overall idea, yes. The Coke is frozen, which they'd never show the Coca-Cola frozen. Like I have the brand guide. That's a no-no. The liquid has to be liquid, not icy. Your model, the Coke is too close to the bottom, right? You can see it's touching the bottom of the frame. Again, with the brand guidelines, with magazine guidelines, with portfolio guidelines, we don't do that. The way the model's hand is coming in looks a little awkward. Like it's coming in like the fingers are too closed. It's coming in this way instead of... And then the thing that I have the biggest issue with is her nails. And it's because her nails have grown out that much. This much. Her nails are no longer there. Her nails have grown out. So first thing we do when we see a model, or we're using a model, is we do this. Show me your hands. And the design also on her nails is not Coca-Cola brand. Like, in fact, if you look at Coca-Cola advertising, there'd be no nail polish. It would just be her hand, like with manicured nails, but not with fake nails and not with nail polish. So this lady has lovely hands, but her hand position, how far the Coke bottle is to the bottom, these are all things. And also what you're doing in post in here and all of this haziness, like this haze, you can't hide this stuff from a client. You can't hide this from a client. The color of the bottle, and the color of the Coca-Cola brand, like all of this, like that has to be like spot on. I'm not trying to be hard on you. I know this is your first submission. Horizon line nice and low, yes. If it's an table edge like this, You have to be really disciplined with that straightness, right? Like the way that you're hitting it. I feel like this is also a mini Coke bottle can, and it's like an 8 ounce. And because it's not the full size, it makes her hand look giant against this little bottle. So there's a couple of things that make this one like a bit of a miss for me. What's going on behind? I like the light. The light on her hand is nice, but how that light transfers to the bottle is hotspot, hotspot, hotspot. So we really like, this needs real practice. It's something that I would work on if, again, and I don't know what type of photographer. Are you shooting product? Are you shooting lifestyle? Are you shooting people? Like, I need to know what kind of a photographer you are so I can guide you into what kind of a Coca-Cola image that you should be making. This is your first submission. This is a very, very good swing for your first submission. But as people will tell you, I see everything. And the nails, Mario, the nails, like, that really has the ability of like ruining a photo. How far the bottle is down in the frame. These things are like super, super, super important. And yeah, like the bottle would fit as an 8x10, but there's so many things that when you've never had a pro look at your work, you're just not going to be considering. But you have to be considering like all of this. I hope this helps you. All right, I hope that helps you. That is Mr. Mario Murray. Mario, thank you for submitting. All right. Thanks for submitting, mister. Guys, do you know that we are rocking something called the Pro Accelerator? I've already selected the people who've gotten in this round, but part of my Pro Accelerator is ProLab, and ProLab is pretty dope. It's support. It's basically weekly support. ProLab is Sunday Zoom calls and Tuesday Zoom calls and a group of other pros. And again, you only qualify for ProLab if you've been a pro photographer for more than 3 years, full-time pro, or you're in my accelerator, you've gone through the Carty Method system. Like, that's the only way that you can get into ProLab. But have a look at thecartymethod.com/ProLab to learn a little bit more about it. And also look at the Carty Method system. The Carty Method system is how I teach photographers to go from zero to hero. What we're doing right now is your work in your market, which is phase 1. I'm delivering phase 1 through these photo reviews. And people who are in my accelerator and people who are in my system, they get this as part of what they've paid for. So Portfolio Lab, and of course ProLab. This is Rafael Ortiz. Rafael says, looking to add this to my portfolio, shot in studio. Nikon 8D50 with a 50mm 1.4, ISO 100, 5.6 or 5.6, 1/100th of a second. Shot with 2 studio strobes. Rafael Ortiz. Raf, this is much betterer as far as idea, much betterer as far as vibe. There's just some exposure things that I'm looking at in her shoulder, which we're going to get into in a second. Because you're wanting to keep this super high stool in the shot, it means that like the amount of frame that is her is quite small, and the amount of stool in frame is quite large. So if you want that to be her pose, take the stool away, put her on the floor, and let her sit on the floor like that. Because what this is doing is it's pushing her too high in the frame, and she's smaller in the frame than the stool is. In this case, just do this. Just push the stool down and show just this if she must be on the stool. but why must she be on the stool? Why must she be on the stool? Why not just have her sitting on the floor? And then also the slippers. I don't really understand the slippers. The slippers kind of like barefoot. Yes. The slippers, no. The slippers, they look dirty and like, yeah, not dirty per se, but I don't know if the slippers make sense. With the exposure, Raphael, we're just dealing with the highlight that's happening here and the highlights that are happening here. That could be in the processing, it could be in the modifier that you're using, it could be in how close or far that your light is. Like, I want you to make sure that you're not losing your highlights, which we kind of are losing like bright spots here in the camera. The exposure on her and her expression is really good. I even like her pose. I just think that she doesn't need the slippers. She should be on the ground. You don't need the stool. And that just gives you so much more posing options as far as what she can do on the floor. And then you, if she's on the floor, you're also on the floor. You're sitting on the floor because she's sitting on the floor. You're at the same eye level. You're at the same plane as her. So you're not looking down at her, and then it works. And also the shadow pushes down on top of her. Obviously, you lower your light, and that's your picture. Raphael, this is a good swing, a much, much, much better background. I'm going to give you an 11 on this because it is such a jump, and what's been going on with you over the last 3 weeks. You're gradually, like, I'm trying to bring you back up to date. The one thing you need to lock in, the stool does not need to be a part of this picture. You're very much about props. Like, lose that idea because it's very dated, okay? She just needs to be sitting on the floor. Like, that's it. That's the picture. And then find some references of models sitting on the floor in the studio on the seamless and use intelligent imitation with the poses. I hope that helps. This is Rafael Ortiz. Thanks for submitting, Raph. All right. Mr. Ortiz, this is Kyle Kiono. Kyle says, inspired by Carty, I had a mega influencer on the TikTok platform position his hands in a star over his eye in this headshot. Sony A7 IV 50mm ISO 800 f2.8 at 2/50th of a second. This is Kyle Kiono. Kyle, thanks for submitting. Kyle, this guy has like a very over-the-top look. And with such an over-the-top look and so much ornamentation, that on top of the pose just makes this kitschy, snapshotty, and kind of cheesy. So the light, the open shade, the exposure, yes, yes, yes. But what he's doing, him showing, like, he wants to show this LA symbol. He wants to show the tattoos on his fingers. He wants you to see his watch. He wants you to see, like, this guy's ego is so big. There's not enough room for you and this guy to be in the same place. And if you don't have the confidence to direct him and to tell him, yo, dude, you don't need to do any of that stuff. Just, like, look at me, or take this picture for him to shut him up and then shoot the picture that you want. Okay, I'm going to show you an example of a photo that I made of somebody who also had very much like a kind of an over-the-top look, but emphasize one thing. Try to emphasize one thing. The thing that he wanted me to emphasize was his grill. So emphasize just one thing. For me, in this picture, he looks like he's in pain, because he's trying to, like, show his girl, and like there's just too much going on. So for me, this is a lost leader. It doesn't work editorially because this pose just would never fly by an editor, because this guy is just too much. He's too over the top. And when you get a guy who looks like this, the only way that it works is by toning him down. He's already over the top. You don't need to shoot him, like, which is kind of what you're doing. So for me, focusing on one element And when you have somebody who has like a super sick look, understating them rather than overstating him. And you are definitely overstating way too many facts with this guy. Like, this is just too much. This guy's too much, and he's also not likable. And we photograph likable people, and we put likable people in our book. This pose is making him even more unlikable. So, Kyle, it's your job to like tone these people down and make them likable. If you let a subject do what they want to do, you're going to be doing nonsense, which you can't use. So shoot. Okay. Yeah, cool. I got that. And then now, can you just cross your arms and look at the camera? Do you know what I mean? Like, punch in, do a close-up of just the grill. Like do something, shoot whatever. Yeah, here's your photo, but like, you'll delete it 10 seconds later and then shoot something for you. You know what I mean? You had this crop, but part of the crop is what the person is doing, and they're not doing anything. You remember, you hear me say, the new pose is no pose. So when you see someone like, you can never talk me into it. Like, here is a gentleman, blah, 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 doing and putting a star thing on his eye, and I feel like it represents this. And it's just, no, Kyle, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. You can't talk me into it with wordsmithing, okay? These kinds of poses, run away from. Run away from. And don't shoot this like this is going to go in your book or somewhere. I hope that helps you, Kyle. I'm trying to raise your frequency, Kyle. Trying to raise your frequency, not lower it. All right. Let's get into ProLab submissions. These are people who are in my Pro Accelerator, people who are in ProLab, people who have gone through the Carty method phases. I have higher expectations of these shooters. This is Tia Dunlop. Tia says, this is a picture from a photo shoot from this past weekend, looking to see if I could add this to my portfolio. R6, ISO 320, 1/25 of a second, shot at f11, with one Westcott FJ400 strobe. This is Tia Dunlop. Tia, thanks for submitting. Tia, the center focused horizontal, I have, like, in this context, I don't know why this is a horizontal picture, because there's nothing important over here or over here. Nothing. So why are you holding your camera horizontal? Look at this. When I, like, if I do this, you can see that I could wiggle a vertical picture out of this frame without too much difficulty. I could wiggle a vertical picture out of this frame with no difficulty, which means then you're wasting on your sensor all of this and all of this because you didn't turn the camera vertical. So this is the same photo, whether it's horizontal or vertical, only it makes no sense horizontal and it makes perfect sense vertical because everything fits within a vertical frame. So how we hold our camera and when we shoot vertical, when we shoot horizontal is super important. And a photographer at your experience, Tia, you have to lock that in. And her boobs look weird because of the shadow. I have to be blunt, and I'm not trying to poke fun. I'm not trying to say anything, but they look uneven, and the shadow is making this and this look like two totally different sizes. And they are different sizes, and this outfit and the light is emphasizing that her boobies are two different sizes. So, like, when it comes to cleavage and cleavage this radical, that is like so out there, it has to be symmetrical. It has to be perfect. So for me, this isn't symmetrical. It's like the lines don't match up. Like this line should go up here the same way that that line goes up here, but this line goes over here. And then this under here and this. So like, and I'm not trying to be so like on this lady's chesticles, but we have to notice this stuff. It's photography. It shows everything. So we have to position people so they look the most flattering. I wouldn't have noticed her boobsicles if she was positioned in a way that didn't emphasize the fact that they're different sizes. So Tia, that stuff you have to notice. And the horizontal, vertical, you have to notice that this is indeed a vertical picture that you shot horizontally, and there's no reason at all that you should have held the camera vertical. Like, no reason whatsoever. So lock that in, Tia. It's super important that you know when to shoot horizontal and when to shoot vertical. And if you're in the studio, 99% of the time, your camera should be locked on a tripod this way, not this way. In fact, I never shoot in the studio this way, like almost never. So I hope that helps you. That is Tia Dunlop. Tia, thank you for submitting. Again, very elegant and great styling, and it's like a little bit more upscale and good body style on this girl. It's just the chesticles you gotta watch. All right, this is Lamont DeSalle. Hey Carty, looking to add this to my portfolio and social platforms. Hey Jared, welcome, thanks for subscribing. Carty, looking to add this to my portfolio and socials. Z6 50mm 1.8 ISO 400 7.1 at 1/200th of a second. This is Lamont DeSalle. Lamont. So the over the shoulder is again like there's something here, but I have a hard time with the white on cream. But again, he's wearing a cream hat and then white. For me, those two clash. And then the background matches the hat. Like, you're kind of trying to save it. Seeing your reflector here, that definitely shouldn't be there. Again, this is just a stylistic choice. Like, I'm not loving the cream on white, because cream and white, like a stylist will be like, they don't go. Like, don't do cream with white, do white with white, do cream with cream. The cream background with a white outfit, that also for me, like it just feels washed. It just feels washed. And then color balance wise, it kind of just feels like the background in this, gray. Hat, off. No hat. Because it's also affecting the light. Like, again, I see that there's a swag to it and blah, blah, blah. Maybe it's me that just doesn't get this style. Like, I just don't get this style. For me, I'm trying to help you appeal to businesses. Lamont, trying to help you appeal to businesses, and you're shooting individuals, which, again, I totally get it. Let's just look at how this works in the span of the rest of your work. So for me, looking at the rest of your work and looking at your editorial style, for me, this hits, and it's way more likable than this. Like, and the darker background. In this darker background, this was a perfect outfit to shoot on this background. So for me, you use the wrong background for that, but you do that. You do this cream to white thing that I don't understand, because it just, especially next to a white and more of a neutral thing, just doesn't hit as hard. Lamont, I feel like this is stronger, I feel, than this. I don't know. There's just a bit of an ego feeling that I get from this. And yeah, you gotta, like, for me, I'm like on the fence as far as this photo. I would have shot it on a darker background. You can put it in your book. I mean, you can definitely put it in your book. But again, I just want you to look at the stuff that hits the hardest in your portfolio and the stuff that, for me, hits less hard, like this. Really work on, like, this contrast and this color composition of, like, the blue background with the cream. That's the kind of dichotomy that I'm hoping that you're shooting. For me, this doesn't have that kind of pop. It feels washed, and I can compare it to other of your work where you're doing a contrast. So I prefer this for you, and looking at the rest of your work, you can see that the rest of your work seems to also prefer that, like, contrast. And for me, over this, like, cool shot, and I prefer this shot to this shot. This works with the white and cream a little better, but this picture would have worked better with a gray background. So I want you to be thinking about your color compositions and that. And also, still, Lamont, I've been begging you to shoot on location. Like, it's the one thing that your portfolio is missing. It's the one thing that your portfolio is missing, proving that you can shoot on location. There's one photo, and this photo, I've reviewed this photo. We talked about all the reasons that it doesn't work. So for me, it looks like you're just a studio photographer and you don't know how to shoot outside. Prove to me that you can shoot on location and mix high-level location model work. And also, Lamont, if you look at Next models, if you look at Next or Elite or like, look at what their portfolios look like. Like, if you look at these girls don't have just studio stuff. They don't have just studio stuff. They have a range of location and studio stuff in their book. You need to prove that you can shoot this kind of work. Prove that you can do this kind of work, and that you're not the guy who can only shoot in the studio, only shoot under lights, only shoot under certain conditions. Prove that you can do this, editorial, fashion outside, if that's what you're trying to do. Prove it. And again, I've mentioned this before. It's necessary because your book feels like it's missing that part of the work. And until you get more, you have to take this one out, because it's like one of these pictures doesn't belong here. You need to come in with like 30 more location pictures. I hope that helps. So I hope I'm clear on this one, Lamont. All right. Again, it is okay, but all right. We're down to the last 5 photos. This is Marcus Mack. Kept him in the shade, prioritized the horizon line. Here's my first submission of a full body editorial. Let's go. So many of these shooters, they've never shot feet before. They've never shot a person full length. It's just like close-ups. R3, Marcus shoots with 50 millimeter ISO 100 f9 at 1/60th of a second. Shot with a newer battery-powered strobe. This is Marcus Mack. Marcus, this is a vibe. This is a vibe. This is a vibe. I mean, it hits. It hits. I like this sensibility. Your color balance is a little bit off, and the exposure that you use with your flash, you can make that exposure even harder, even brighter, so it makes this background even bluer, and more saturated, it's still kind of washed out, which means your flash power is not high enough. You need to increase your flash power, because right now, still, the sunlight back here in the background is brighter than the exposure here. So if you get this exposure brighter, then you expose for this, and then this scene down here gets a little bit darker. Overall, it's strong though. I think that your crop is wrong. I think that your camera, Marcus, is set for 16:9 and not set for 2:3. So please change your camera settings. Your photo is a little thin. It's a little narrower than it should be. Let me just see if I can find another horizontal. If you look at this horizontal and this, do you see that little difference? That means your camera is not set for 2:3, Marcus. It's set for 16:9. So please fix that. This little bit of extra border, because look, when I put a cover here, and then when I did that on your photo, do you see? That's how I knew. So make sure that your camera's set for 16:9. You can't get away with it being set for 16:9. It needs to be set for 2:3. Other than that, Marcus, this is a good vibe. It's good attitude on the subject. This is a yes for me. And you need to mix this in with the rest of your work. Mix in that 3/4, mix in full length, mix in close up. Everything that you shoot should be shot that way. Okay? Hope that helps you. All right. That is Marcus Mack hitting it. Oh, did I give you an 11, Marcus? Did you get an 11 there? That's an 11 for you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Daniel Van Cleef. Daniel says, woman, the sun was hot on a bit hot. But as you can see, but I like the vibe and the colors. Should I stay or should it go? Let me know. Thanks. X Pro, Fuji X Pro 3, 35mm ISO, 80, 250 to the second at 7.1. This is Daniel Van Cleef. Daniel, should it stay or should it go now? Exposure wise, it's under. This is under. I'm gonna call this under by maybe 10 to 20%. Just pull up your exposure just a little bit here. As far as like the crop, the vibe, it has something for me, Daniel, Mr. Van Cleef. It has something. Let's just frame it up as an 8x10. It has something, and you can see this is what it would look like as an 8x10. It has something. The vintage clothes are radical. It has something. It definitely, I just want you to fix the exposure for me. And then let me see if I can pull up Van Cleef's website. Does it fit in with the rest of your sensibility? I'm not sure if this fits in with your sensibility with that graffiti background. I'm not sure it fits, Daniel. Yeah, perhaps show me another edit, especially like I want you to look at, you know, this to me, it's so much more like advanced. Yeah, like some of your ideas are just so much more advanced. And if this is the same girl as this is better of her. This is way better of her than this. So I'm not sure if it needs to make it. I hope that helps you, Mr. Daniel Van Cleef. Thanks for submitting, my guy. Perhaps in black and white, Daniel. Perhaps in black and white. I just think that the background is a little busy. And it's like, that's not really your style. You know what I mean? Looking at the rest of your photos and the rest of your rules. Frank says, had a shoot last week, was working with my vertical cover compositions. I think this could fit in my portfolio, would appreciate your thoughts. R5 28 to 70 millimeter ISO 100 f4.5 at a 6/40th of a second. Natural light. This is Frank Tom. Frank, can this go in your book? Let's look at this as a cover. Let's look at this as an 8x10. Hide that. Like, Frank, it's all about how this looks with the rest of your work. So outfit-wise, we're not really seeing any brand, but the light that's on her face, she's got a really unique look. So let's pull up Frank Tom and see what Frank, like, this is what it's competing with, okay? Let's just hide me. This is what it's competing with. It's competing with this. I mean, and this is the same girl, right? So far, this is stronger for me, Frank, the one that's on your site already. I think personally that this is better. This is way better. It's way better. Brand on the shoes, the fact that you've taken that over jacket off, it just feels cleaner. And the expression on her face is like lovely and approachable and likable. And you're seeing muscles because she's stretching out. This screams fitness. For me here, like, she's not really connected with you in the same way, Frank. I'm glad I looked at your book. I'm glad I looked at your website because I feel like this, yes. This one, it's just her expression just feels a little bit flat for me. Probably would have worked with a little bit of a smile. Perhaps she's looking off and that over jacket is off. I hope that helps you. That is Mr. Frank Tom. Thanks for submitting, Frank. Again, this one's better. I would have wanted you to submit this one. I prefer this one over the other one. And again, I love the context in that picture. Framing and everything. I think this one's just better. Hope it helps. That's Frank Tom. All right. This next photographer is Samuel Salling. We're down to the last two. And then, because it's Tuesday, I'm going to announce and give you a little secret brief on what next week's assignment is for week 25. You got to stay to the end. I'm also going to tell you the photos of the week and tell you if there's a best nerd in show or not. This is Samuel Salling. Wonder if this fits in my portfolio. Modern square in the downtown area. A7 16 to 35/28. ISO 100 f8 at an 80th of a second. This is Samuel Salling. Samuel. I like the offset. I like that offset. If you look at how that now, the way that the gutter falls, you did this very creatively, Samuel. I like the I can walk this way. I can go this way. I can walk this way. Good sky. Really good lines, Samuel. Good lines here. The canopy, I like this. Yes, this can go in your book. This is a yes for me. This is a yes. This is a beautiful frame. Very, very, very clean. Samuel shoots architecture. I'm trying to turn him into the top 1% architecture photographers in the world. Samuel, yeah, guy. Yes, 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 yes. That's an 11 for me. Yes, 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 yes. By the way, if you've never seen me before, I'm Carty. Put your hand up if you've never seen me before. I've been a pro for 35 years. I've been doing this for ages. Not photo reviews, but being a pro. Should I hold a camera so people know I'm actually Here's me holding an R5. It's like sometimes people are slow, and it's like, this guy doesn't even have any cameras on his set or anything. It's like, yeah, I do. They're over there. I just put them over here because, I'm shooting later, so my R5 is out. I'm shooting headshots of an actor that I've been shooting since he was 12. And this kid has been now in the Toronto Film Festival. My friend who passed 2 years ago, Charles Officer, really quite famous director, has done Nurse Fighter Boy and like a bunch of amazing films. The film that Charles directed, was called Aquila's Escape. Aquila's Escape. All of Charles' films are on Netflix. Nurse Fighter Boy, Aquila's Escape. And the kid that I'm shooting today is the lead actor for Aquila's Escape. And I've shot him again since he was like 12. I've done probably, like, the photos that I make for this kid get him movies. And he's got movie, and then this last movie that he got, that he was the feature, was huge. So he now went from having a short afro to like a little twist. Of course, his mom calls me. I think he's 16 or 17 now. 17, 18 now. So I'm just doing a quick update because his hair is different. Last photo of the day, my friends, is Doyle Daniels. Doyle says this is part of a personal project on Hispanic ranchers in Colorado. Dope. I already like it. Z8, 70-200, ISO 250, 1/250th of a second at 4.5. This is natural light on a tripod. This is Doyle Daniels. Doyle. Love, love, love. What's going to take this to the next level now, Doyle, this series is outdoor strobe, I think, so you can really make the background feel more like a set. I like this. Him on the road, the placement of the horse, like he's centered, he's squared up. Like, again, this is an 11, but I know how good you are, Doyle, and I really want to take you up with this. This is great as a cover. It crops really well. You shot it loose enough that it also works as an 8x10. This is a yes for me, Doyle. I can't wait to see where you take this. For me, what I want you to see is like this canopy of trees over here. That's where I'm taking this, and I'm dropping the horse in here. I'm shooting in such a way that now I have partial tree and partial canopy, and you see now just all trees, and then studio light there would be crazy. Or also open shade natural light there would be crazy. Because there's so much white sky, that's why I said strobe, because that's going to turn this back to blue. But if the sun is like over here or over here and you're aiming into the sun, it's going to be always a white sky. So you can kind of control that a little bit with open shade. But when you're in this kind of a situation, just try to find like some sort of canopy that you can cover the whole scene with foliage. I think I did that with my shoot with this model for Edwin Jeans, and the model's name was Kaya. Let me see if I can pull up some of these files of Kaya. Name contains Kaya. Here we go. And then pull this. So there's some shots that I did that way. I'm just going to open name. Just going to open a few of these. I'm sorry. And again, this is going to make it so you can see what I mean a little bit there, Doyle, with the framing. This is the last shot of the day. And then I'm going to do photos of the week. Ah, yes, I did it here. So, perfect. Let me just open a few of these. Open with preview. Beautiful. Beautiful. So this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about, where I took this subject and then moved her in a place where I have just all foliage as the background. You can see here the same thing where I tucked her so I don't see any sky, because that sky would have been white. And then I used outdoor strobe to kick in. This is kind of the example that I'm trying to show you. So yeah, this is just a little bit of that. That's what I'm trying to find. All right. Stuff's not even on my website yet. All right. I hope that helps you. This is Doyle Daniels. Again, Doyle, really good swing. I'm really excited to see how this progresses. Keep shooting this project. Excited. Very well done. I'm going to give you an 11 on that. All right. And I do believe that's the last photo of the day. All right. So it's time for photos of the week. And then I'm going to get into next week's assignment. And yes. Oh, here's something. Me. Me.
Treat everybody like a superstar. Famous people less like a superstar. I treat famous people like real people. I started as a photographer, I would say professionally, when I was 20. My brother's a fine art painter, heavy influence on me, and I couldn't paint, so when I discovered the camera, it was really easy for me to express myself creatively. Everybody's in the business of glorifying celebrities, so capturing them, it's already glorifying them by photographing them. So if I can get them a little bit more understated, I feel like it brings up the real. In 1997, I shot Tom York from Radiohead, most important picture of my career. In 2001, I shot Pharrell Williams for Peace magazine. Again, very important picture. Colin Firth, a week before he won his Oscar, career moving pictures where that picture propels a whole new wave of clients, a whole new wave of people looking at my work. I think pivotal career-changing pictures are more important than favorite pictures, because they're all my favorite. The whole idea is make good stuff and share it and do it every day.
Alrighty then, it is time for the photos of the week, starting with Courtney Turner. Photo of the week, buddy. Yes, 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 yes. Way better than your perspective from last week. Small things, I would have backed up a bit, included the wing mirror. But I do love this perspective. Thank you for submitting. That is Courtney Turner with our first photo of the week. But it continues. And again, I am giving photos of the week for, and I judge you against yourself. So if I feel like this is a level up for you, then you get a photo of the week. That's kind of how it works. These photos don't necessarily have to be perfect, but for the photographer that I'm judging, for them, it is like a photo of the week goes to Miss Bernadette Kellerman. Bernadette, this is very, very good photo. This is a very, very, very close to being a perfect photo. I gave you a review. I told you what I would do next time I talked to you about body positioning and stuff, but Bernadette, good job. Well done. Well done. Who's next on the docket? Oh, this one. Photo of the week for Miss Nadine O'Connor. Nadine, this was such a level up for you. Like, I felt it in my chest when I looked at this photo. Like, you're a photographer. This is real deal, Hollyfield. So proud of you. Nadine O'Connor. Well done, Nadine. All right. Again, I have to be hard on these shooters, but I give credits for level ups. I'm going to go back to here. Miss Natalie Bennett. Congratulations, Natalie. Congratulations. That's a photo of the week. Natalie Bennett. We got a lot of females crushing this week. Lot of females. No, I have to... I'm still deciding. Okay. Still deciding. Photo of the week for Mr. Raphael Ortiz. Raph, this is a level up for you. Remember everything that I said for the review. This is a level up for you. You are leveling up. You're developing. That's what I'm doing with you right now. Raphael, congratulations. All right. It continues. It gets hard. But this guy, this really impressed me. You hit this. This is Marcus Mack with a photo of the week. Marcus, congratulations. Well done. There's such a swag to this picture. This is such a departure from what I'm used to from you, but this is so needed. I needed this from you. That is Marcus Mack. Well done, Marcus. Well done, Marcus. And photo of the week for Mr. Samuel Salling. Samuel. Well done. It's photo of the week. Very well done. Samuel Salling. And our last and final photo of the week goes to Mr. Doyle Daniels. Doyle. The applause. There you go. Doyle, congratulations, buddy. Everybody who submitted, thank you. Everybody who won photo of the week, thank you. Thank you. Do we have a best in show? I don't know if you'd agree with me, but I have 2-3 best in shows. Doesn't matter if you agree with me or not. Best in show number 1 is Courtney Turner. Congratulations. That's a best in show, Courtney. It's a fantastic picture. Very well done. The color composition, it's just, yes. Courtney, yes. Courtney Turner, best in show. I'm going to do this in order of impact for me. Best in show number 2 goes to Marcus Mack. Marcus, so incredibly proud of you for this photo, my guy. You don't know. Marcus, congratulations. Marcus is 22 years old, by the way. He's been with me for a year and a half. All right. And our last and final photo of the week. And for me, this photo of the week is so special because not only is it a photo of the week, not only is it best in show, but for this photographer, I do not know if you understand how great a leap forward. I get emotional thinking about it. My last and final best in show goes to Miss Nadine O'Connor. Nadine, congratulations. I'm so proud of you. So well done. I'm not sure if you've won best in show before, but it is my highest pat on the back. Congratulations. All right. So you want your next week's assignment. This is due June 25th, which is next week, Wednesday, for June 26th show, which is Thursday's show. This is going to be a fun one for you. I want you to create a 1 second plus photo. 1 second plus photo. Well, what's a 1 second plus photo? I want you to create a vertical image using a shutter speed of 1 second or longer. Okay? If you shoot people, capture motion blur or some sort of a ghosted image. Yes, you can mix flash with studio strobe. You can mix studio strobe with your motion blur or ghosting. If you shoot places, use a long exposure. Use a long exposure to show flowing water, light trails, or night scenes. Exposure. For things photographers, if you shoot things, experiment with creative blur or dynamic product storytelling. This is a vertical. This should be for a cover, and it is a single image, okay? This is why this matters. Long exposure photography demonstrates advanced technical control and advanced creativity, which adds atmosphere and storytelling to your portfolio. Proving that you can shoot long shutter speeds, totally necessary. Guys, I hope that is an assignment that you're going to do. It's definitely going to help. Everybody who submitted, I applaud you. Thank you for submitting. I appreciate y'all. If you didn't win photo of the week, don't worry. You got a great review and you know exactly what to do for next week. Know this, I judge you against yourself. I'm not judging you against any other shooters here. This isn't a competition. You are only in competition with yourself. And getting photo of the week, getting best in show, that means you're improving. That means you're listening. You're taking what I say to you and you're adapting, and your very next shoot, you're implementing what you learn and you're learning. The photographers who are winning best in show and photo of the week, you would not believe what their photography looked like 6 months ago. You would not believe what their photography looked like a year ago. In fact, you would not think it was the same photographer. And that is all because of what we're doing here with the Carty Methods Portfolio Lab. There's nothing like this anywhere. I hope you'll consider joining. It is the best money that you'll spend that's not on photography gear for your career. I hope that helps you. Guys, I think that's it. I think that's it for me. Nice, tight 90-minute show. We looked through a bunch of photographs. I'm excited to see your Coca-Cola assignments on Thursday. That's the next time you'll see me. I have done an amazing episode on Sunday about how to find local clients on LinkedIn. If you haven't watched that episode, go watch it. I also dropped an amazing video on Friday that nobody's watching. I have no idea why my subscribers aren't watching. If you haven't watched my latest video, go check it. It is all about how to make personal work turn into real work. What's the title? I don't know, but you'll find it. It's a video that you haven't watched. Appreciate you guys for being here. I will see you on Thursday.
This live stream was brought to you by Pixpa, the best website builder for photographers and creatives, and Indie, the best way to run your freelance business, and by you, the members and subscribers of the Carty Method. Consider becoming a member for $5 a month to show your support for our content, and we'll reward you. You get members-only content every month, and Carty has the best emojis on YouTube, and you'll get that crown badge next to your name. If you're building a photography business, make sure you join Portfolio Lab. How ready are you to be a pro? Take the Carty Method Pro Photographer's Readiness Scorecard. You'll always find helpful links in the show notes. Sharing is caring. If this content has brought you value today, share it, clip it, post it to your socials. Curating and sharing helpful content makes you an expert. Even if the content you're sharing isn't yours, be a curator and share this content with your network. Find your creative and business genius with the Carty Method.
Remember, this commercial-free stream was brought to you by the members of this channel. I definitely couldn't do commercial-free lives if it wasn't for you. Please consider hitting the join button and supporting what we're doing here at the Carte Method.